That's the timer. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being patient with me. For those over on YouTube and those just joining us on Twitch, I had to completely shut down the stream because at the very beginning because my YouTube had gotten disconnected from my streaming software. And so even though it looked like I was connected, I actually wasn't, and I didn't realize it. Like, I have a 10-minute lead up, and I was actually downstairs making a cup of coffee and helping my husband with the groceries, and I came running up, and we had no YouTube. So I had to disconnect. So we started the sprint, like, right away so that I could do that. And so, so thank you for your patience, friends. But we got it all sorted. YouTube folks are on board. Welcome in, people. Let's see, we have Diane over on YouTube and Reed over on YouTube, and now I see that Daniela has joined us. Let's see, and Sophia on Twitch said, also, I splurged and bought all the City Skylines DLCs I don't already have. Go you, I like it. Huzzah. I can't wait for the Spirit City garden to come out. That's going to be fun. They've got little fairies and stuff, which is cute. And let's see. So Daniela says, hello. Very much enjoyed today's spring weather. 13 degrees Celsius. Yay. I just finished dinner and I'm ready to chill. Excellent. What was for dinner today? Because you know that's what I always want to know. Diane says, same, have windows and doors open. Yeah, it's actually not bad here. After we had a couple days of a cold snap. Let me see if I can get the weather here. Everything's being weird and not connecting. Something's going on. I don't know what's going on. Okay, but my other app, it says it's 61 here, which I don't know what that is in Celsius, but it's warm. Not hot, but warm. As you can see, I don't have my my robe on with my little hood or a sweatshirt, so I'm good. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. Emily's joining us over on Twitch today. She's just like bouncing back and forth. Present on Twitch today because YouTube was swallowing comments the last few times. Yeah, YouTube has been doing that for about the last week or so. And it's been super weird. I don't know what's going on with them. They can't get their shit together. Sophia says, oh, I am very ready for spring. I imagine. Anita says, I worked on interview questions that sprint. Have to try and get it done today. Awesome. Diane KS here. So Kansas, is that what the KS is for? Kansas? Sophia says, temps have been going up at least. That's what we like to see. I mean, to a certain point, and then beyond that, we don't want it to keep going up. Daniela says, today it was just sandwiches, 1 hummus and cheese, and 1 PBJ. Very well rounded. I like it. I'm currently eating a lemon yogurt, which this is my favorite flavor of their yogurt. It's like a lemon meringue taste without the weird texture of the meringue. And then my husband's making me toasty. So I'm going to have pepper salami and cheese in a toasty. So let's see. Sophia says up, as in only occasionally freezing, which is an improvement. Yes. So it was really funny because I went on a little research tangent last night. You know, because, like, when we move to Europe, we're going to, there's travel and all the things. And I was like, I wonder how much a transatlantic flight or a transatlantic cruise would be, right? And it's actually, in some cases, cheaper than a flight. Of course, it takes longer, but you're kind of on vacation. So, I feel that would be a nice little, like, chill out before the craziness of settling in. But a couple of the cruises that I saw Like, they'll sometimes stop at different places. Sometimes it'll be in the Caribbean and then they'll go across, or sometimes they'll go across and go through the Mediterranean and then stop at the final destination. But several of them where the final destination was Amsterdam, and so for those of you who don't know, my husband is Dutch. We may end up in the Netherlands initially, but went through like different Scandinavian countries. I was like, oh, we'll have to, if we do this, I'm going to have to find the one that goes to Sweden so that I can visit with Sophia. I was planning our trip around where you are, Sophia. Anyway, I thought you'd find that funny. Ariel also got paid today and will be buying herself geeky stuff as a belated birthday gift. Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you! Yay! Happy birthday, lovely. Anita says, it's a balmy 5 degrees Celsius here. Yeah, that's fucking cold. Spicy Molly says, I want to do a Northern Lights cruise. I mean, you can see the Northern Lights in Tennessee these days, so like, it can almost be a Caribbean cruise at this point. Sophia says, oh, you should do the one for the Baltic Islands if you get a chance. Yeah, I just saw that they stopped at different places in the Scandinavian area. But there was one that, there were a couple that stopped in actual places in Sweden. I was like, okay, if we do that, I'm going to have to coordinate so that you come to where I am and we can go out and have a meal. So, won't take you anywhere near me though, but you would have to come. You would have to like take a train or something. Daniela says, what? I'd never think a cruise would be cheaper. Yeah, no ships ending in the Czech Republic. We're tragically landlocked. Well, I mean, I'm also tragically landlocked up in Atlanta, but I can get elsewhere. Sophia says, but if you get on one with a stop in Gothenburg, I'll come meet up. I will keep that in mind. Ariel says, thank you. 35 isn't bad when you don't let social media tell you that you're old. Do not. Do not. Honest to God. There's a reason why our Western society, particularly American society, tells women they should not get older. And it's because as we get older, we get smarter, we get wiser, we understand the world better, and we take less shit. So, yeah. So don't listen to social media telling you that 35 is old. Number one, it's not old. And number two, you are just coming into some of the best years of your life. So, take that. There you go. Diane says, taking dog out, going to sit with coffee. All right, enjoy. I love it. We have I Write Horror joining us over on YouTube, who is currently working on, surprise, a horror novel. Excellent. I love horror. It is, I don't read a ton of it anymore, but when I was young, like especially my teens and my early 20s, that's like all I read was horror. I love horror. So I don't love horror movies as much. I like quiet horror generally, especially for movies. I like that creeping dread that you get. And the problem I have with horror movies, though, is that I find myself really commiserating even more with the person because it's all visual. So anyway, I don't know, it's weird. But like, I don't love horror movies as much as I love horror books, anywhere near. So, let's see, Ariel, right back at you. Stephanie, hello and welcome in over on YouTube. Glad to see you today, friend. New friend. Welcome in. Sophia says, I'm turning 39 in a month and I'm wondering if maybe I can be one of those lucky people who go through early menopause. Just no longer going through periods would be lovely. Won't enjoy the hot flashes, of course. No, and the brain fog and the thing about perimenopause, the not having a period is wonderful. However, during the whole perimenopause process, you get surprise periods. Like, you don't know when they're coming. They just show up. And sometimes they're full-blown period, and sometimes they're just like little spotty things. And there's no planning for it. So like, yeah, in the hot flashes, I don't get a ton of hot flashes, but I do get them. They're not awful, and you can actually treat that with hormone replacement. Just make sure that you take both the estrogen and the progesterone, because if you don't, the estrogen will cause you to have periods or, a little bit of that. So, at any rate, that's my experience. Daniela says 35 is definitely not old, but sometimes I feel it a bit among much younger people at concerts or in hostels. No, yeah, same. And the thing is, most people don't, like, I am 56, and most people don't think I'm 56. Like, because number one, I don't act like it. Like, I don't act like what they think a 56-year-old person should act like. And I don't look like what they think a 56-year-old woman should look like. And so most people don't realize that that's how old I am, but this is what 56 looks like and acts like. But I also hang out with people younger than me, because once you get older, if you're very social, just generally, you're going to end up having friends who are younger than you, And so I always joke that I surround myself by younger people, and I, feed off their energy to stay young. But I don't care about staying young. I do dislike the creaks and the groans and the pains and the random, like, this never ever hurt before. What did I do? Like, that part I could do without. Sophia says, but maybe people will stop asking me if I'm going to have children. Now they'll start asking you why you didn't have children. That's what comes next. I Write Horror says, I am hoping that it will be my debut novel. Yay! How far along are you? How far into it are you? Spicy Molly says, I'm pretty sure I'm in perimenopause too, and it's killing me. I can't sleep more than an hour at a time. I get so freaking hot. Thank you. My lunch has been delivered. Thanks, babe. I get so freaking hot. Yeah, I would really recommend going to a women's clinic or your GYN if you have one, and talk to them about it. They can give you shit to help with that. Stephanie says, it's good to be here. Today I'll be working on my edits for book 2. Excellent. Ariel says, as someone with PCOS, that sounds no different than what I experience on a monthly basis. Yeah. Stephanie says, yes, take both. Oh my God. Yeah. Definitely don't just take estrogen. I was awful. I really want to get the combination patch, because they've got a combination patch, but of course my insurance doesn't cover it, and it's like $700 a month, and I can't afford that. So I am off. So I'm just not doing it because I'm off. I'm good with the patch. I'm awful at remembering to take the progesterone because it makes you sleepy. And so they recommend you take it at night, which is great, except at night, I usually spend an hour or two in my bed reading or putzing around on a game or, whatever. And then by the time I do get tired enough to fall asleep, I forget to take the pill. So yeah. So I'm not letting myself have patches until such time as I can either get the combination patch or I can trust myself to take that fucking pill. Yeah, Ariel says the period just shows up when it feels like it. Yeah, I had an issue with that when I was younger and I was a lot heavier because the weight when I was younger and not as heavy, if I would stay below probably about 180, 190 pounds, if I stayed below that, my period was super regular. Like, I didn't even have to track it. I would get a little bit crampy right before it started, like the day before, and then I would know it was going to start. Or I could count it down. It was every 30 days, not every 28 days. And so, but once I gained weight, especially when my weight got really high, because I was close to 300 pounds, like really close to 300 pounds at my heaviest weight. And it was completely erratic. Like, it would come and it would be with me for weeks and weeks. And then I wouldn't have a period for months. Or I would have it for weeks, I wouldn't have it for 5 days, and then I would have it for weeks again. So it was super, yeah. Spicy Molly says, I thought we were the same age. I'm 37. Nope, I'm 20 years older than you. You could be my daughter. If I had kids, which I don't. Happily child-free. Diana's 62. I am avoiding HRT because of increased breast cancer risks. Had siblings with breast cancer. That is completely valid. Yeah. I Write Horror said, I just started today, so I'm 411 words in. Yes, you get cheers. Great job. Great job. Huzzah. Huzzah. Well, welcome in, I Write Horror. I'm very excited that you've joined us. Sophia says, my body is ridiculously tuned in to when I'm going to have my period, so maybe that'll stick. It always reminds me to bring something in the 24 hours before my period starts. Yeah, like I said, I used to get I was very lucky. I never had problematic periods, and I have so much empathy for women who do, because that looks awful, you know? Like, mine were always definitely uncomfortable, but like not horrible in any way. So like, oof, I have so much empathy for y'all who struggle with a lot of pain. I would just get like cramping, like minor cramping. It wasn't even bad. It was just, ugh. So Diane said, sigh, asking if having children so annoying, and I have kids, but I sympathize. Nobody's business. Yeah. I've said since I was 18 that I'm not having kids. And of course you get that whole, you know, when you're older, you'll want kids. And when you find the right person, you'll want kids. And, you know, when your biological clock starts ticking, you'll have kids. But I will tell you that my sense of how I want my life to be was stronger than all of those things. Although I did, when I got together with my husband, I said, do you want to have kids? And he's like, I feel like I would enjoy having kids, but not right now. And I was like, cool. I was 30. I was like, cool. I said, you have until I'm 35 to have this discussion again, and we can talk about it. I'm willing to talk about it. And he was like, okay. So about 6 months before my 35th birthday, I was like, okay, how are you feeling about kids? And he's like, I feel like I would like kids, but you know, not right now. And I'm like, okay, you got 6 months. And man, those 6 months went by and we ain't got no kids. That's how that worked. So Sophia says, I think that's due to my witchcraft, though. It didn't used to happen. Oh, your period. Gotcha. I mean, not your period not happening, but like the warning, right? Stephanie says, it's no one's business. I'm 42, had a hysterectomy, and I've gotten to the point of getting honest with people. I wanted them, couldn't have them. Thank you for reminding me. I'm so sorry. I mean, I have one of my closest friends wanted children so badly, but was unable to because of something very similar, right? I don't think they had a hysterectomy specifically, but a lot of, like, they couldn't do it. So yeah. And so it's like a very painful topic. And like, people are just, they're so rude. Let's see. Oh, got ads going on Twitch. Sorry, Ariel. Ariel, if you've got I don't know if you can hear me now, because I'm still a little behind on the chat, but if you've got Prime, you can get rid of the ads if you've got Prime. Yes, Diana's going, woohoo, way to go! And Stephanie says, yay for you, I Write Horror! Yes, we love that. One of us. Ariel says, I just subscribed for 3 months! There we go. Okay, you had already figured it out. Thank you! You're awesome! How did I miss that? Okay. Oh, Old Lady Cat has joined us. Let's see. Daniela says, I knew since 19 I didn't want kids. Haven't changed my mind. Amen. It's like these people think they know our minds better than we know our minds. It's like, come on. Diane says, I don't think I put as much thought into whether I wanted them or not. I think I felt it was just expected. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I love my kids, but there's no guarantee they will want to take care of you, etc. They have their own lives. Exactly. And that's the only thing, like, as I'm getting older, I'm like, who's going to take care of me? But I'm also the cool aunt. So I feel like, you know. Anyway, okay. Oh, so the bot gave you links. to TWT, which is the support and education group for writerly types that I run on Facebook, also Discord and Twitch. You can do !Discord to get the Discord link if you'd like it, but sooner or later the bot is going to toss it in there, so you can wait on that too. Anita says, I have little to no motherly instinct, so I did not inflict myself on children. I love self-aware people, Anita. I love it. I would have made a great mom, but I really liked my life the way it was. Like, I liked my life the way it was. I mean, I still like my life the way it is. I mean, there are things I would change right now drastically about life, but generally speaking, I'm cool with just me and my husband. You know, that's fine. So, Ariel says, my husband and I do a check-in every year, and the answer is the same. I don't know. Yeah. And that's the thing, particularly about guys, and this is because they don't carry any of the risk of pregnancy, is that they either have no feelings about it or really strong feelings that they want children, right? There doesn't seem to be, like, it's usually, I don't know, maybe, I guess, sometime, or it's like, yes, I want them right now. There is, like, guys are usually not, no, I don't want children. Like, and of course, this is just a generalization, so certainly there will be some, but generally speaking, for men, it seems to always be either, I don't know, or yes, I absolutely want them. Ariel's like, so I take that as a no. Because it is. If it's not a yes, it's a no. Danielle is like, Team Cool Aunt. Yeah. Sophia says, I would have made a great mom, but I prefer my freedom. That's exactly right. Stephanie's like, yes, Team Cool Aunt. Ariel's like, both of us is I don't know. And that's cool. But, you know, you've got other things to take into consideration that he doesn't. That is the point, right? And I think because medical advances have made pregnancy a lot less dangerous, a lot of people in the world, both women who have not had children and men, think that there's no risk. But pregnancy is still a huge risk for a person's body, right? It's still a huge risk. It changes everything. So, Sophia says, I watched my baby niece the other day and that went just fine. Exactly. And my thing is, when I was a kid, all of my siblings are significantly younger. Like, my nearest sibling is 9 years younger than I am. Which means, of course, that I had babysitting duty. And my mom, after my brother was born, who is the second, like, he's 11 years younger than me. So when he was born, my mom had severe postpartum depression, except back then, that wasn't a thing. It wasn't a real diagnosis. But, like, she hardly ever came out of her room, you know, and it was just bad, which means for the first couple years of my brother's life and for several years of my sister's life as a toddler, I was essentially their mom. I took care of them. You know, I would get up in the morning, I would make us all breakfast. I would make sure they got onto the daycare school bus because they had a little bus for daycare. And then, obviously not when my brother was an infant, but once he was a toddler age, I would get them off to school. I would get on the bus. I would go to school. I would come home. I'd have an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half to work on homework or whatever. They would get home. I would take care of them. I would make dinner. I would give them their baths if it was bath night and get them to bed. I would clean the kitchen. And then I would do whatever homework or relax or whatever. And I did that for several years. And that really was what made me go, no, I've already raised kids. I don't need to. And I recognize that raising kids as an adult is different because you've also got the financial responsibility and medical responsibility and all that. But still, as a young teenager, I already did all that. I don't need to do it again. I'm good. Diane says, if I had to do it again, I don't know that I would have had kids. I definitely would rethink marriage, even though we are happy and 33 years in. I have a friend without kids that moved to Mexico to retire and said she's just going to hire someone if she needs it to take care of her when she's older. Diane says, I almost died from an ectopic pregnancy. Oh my God. Was close, could easily not be here, or youngest daughter and her kids. No, it's okay being Gabby. I mean, we're talking. That's what this is about. Because we didn't have chit chat at the beginning. So for those who are just joining us, we usually don't do this much chit chat in between stream or in between sprints, except for when we have actual designated breaks. But we didn't have chit chat at the beginning because I had to restart the stream and shit. So we went straight into a sprint. So yeah, so no, it's all good. This is what we do. We gab a little bit. And Stephanie is saying, yes, you're fine. So, okay. All right, that was all very heavy. So, let's see. Yes, we are here for this. Exactly. But I have to turn off my heater because my body can no longer self-regulate temperature, and now I'm hot. And I have lunch and the rest of my breakfast. All right, y'all. Let's get into another sprint. If you haven't let us know in the chat what you're working on, which is usually what I do at the beginning, but since, again, we had the snafu, let me know what you're working on. I should be writing. I really should write, but I'm kind of I'm tired because I didn't get enough sleep last night, and I'm not ready to face the scene I have to write yet. And it's not because it's a bad scene. It's going to be a fun scene, but it's not solidified in my head yet, I don't think, exactly what I need to have on the page. So I think I'm going to let that sit. I'm going to eat my lunch, my food this sprint. So I'll go off camera for that because nobody needs to see that. And then I'll work on, I've got a couple more multiverse things I need to do. I have to get the schedule grid for 2026 set up for my directors. And I want to put links to different resources in the little hub that I have for them to check so that they can always find the links if they need them. They don't have to search their email and stuff. Ariel is still studying until the top of the hour, and then she's taking a break. Excellent plan. Stephanie says, haha, time to eat breakfast for me. Then I'll work on my edits. Book 2 is due on the 15th to the editor. Let's go. You got like 3 weeks. Let's go. Diane says, still working on the how-to YouTube course. Taking it, not teaching. All right, sounds good. I hope you learned cool stuff. All right, y'all. Shall we get into it? For those of you who are new, we don't usually do music on the stream unless somebody on Twitch purchases it with their plot bunnies. Can't do that on YouTube. Sorry, love you guys, but that's just how that works. YouTube is not as fun as Twitch. Yeah, so we're just going to get into it. Diane just moved 3 weeks ago, so things got behind. Yes, give yourself some grace for that. You're not behind. You're not behind because when you move, everything stops. Like, there is no behind. You can't pretend like you could have gotten anything done in that time. So there is no behind. Now you're coming back to regular life. Because, moving is one of the most hectic things you can experience in your entire life. So, cut yourself some grace, my friend. All right, let's go. 20 minutes. Let's do it. Okay, y'all, that's the end of that sprint. How did you do? I ate my food. It was very yummy. And what else did I do? Oh, I worked on setting up that spreadsheet for multiverse. It's really just copying last year's, clearing last year's data and making sure all the cells are formatted the way they're supposed to be formatted for it. That's really all it is. And I'm almost done. I've just got a couple more things I need to do. And then I probably should look at the guest contract. I need to create the new guest contract form because we will be, I don't necessarily need to do that right now, but I will need to do that in the next couple weeks, so I may as well do it now. So, how'd everybody else do? Let me know in the chat. We get an official break now. So, Alicia, hi, welcome in, welcome in. Let's see, Alicia's over on YouTube and is just joining. Ran and Aaron, you missed the whole drama about me not being connected to YouTube. So you just missed it. So good on ya. Ran and Aaron, returning library books. Just finished lunch and now hoping to clean up desk and read. I need to read a bunch. Yeah, I still need to read the rest of what I need to read for our book club. I'm part of a book club, y'all. I've never been part of a book club before. So, Alicia's like, or try to. I mean, valid. Sophia says, I think I've exhausted all my mental resources, so I'm going to bed now. All right. Sweet dreams, Sophia. Will I see you tomorrow at the Zoom co-working? So, I hope you get some good rest. I hope you get some good rest, my friend. Anita says, improved and artwork and got today's social media post up. Yes. Good job. Sophia's like, possibly tomorrow. Possibly. All right. Well, hopefully I will see you. And if I don't, I'll see you next week. Have a good sleep. Stephanie over on YouTube says, I ate my food as well. What did you eat? I always want to know what people eat. And just got a call from the vet that my cat is going to be ready soon. She has a cold. Our old lady cat was sneezing for a couple days. So she seems, I don't know, she seems to not have been sneezing today, but I've hardly seen her. She's mostly been sleeping. So yeah, I wonder if there's just like a kitty cold that is going around. Although my cats don't go outside, so I'm really not sure how they would have caught it. Except for when my husband leaves the door open and downstairs cat decides to go on walkabout. And the problem with him going on walkabout is that he is not at all food motivated. So there is no way to get him home until he's ready to come. Fucking thing. Anyway. Ariel says sweet dreams to Sophia. Alicia says I will be reading the rest of the pages, all 4 of them, for Book of Doors and trying to finish Meet Cute. And then I'll just start on the March TBR. Excellent. And that's an early start too. So yes. Awesome. Oh, sorry. I'm tired, y'all. Okay, we get a little break. Stephanie says, yeah, she's sneezing and has a runny eye. She's never outside either, but colds are what they are apparently. Yeah, and we can give them to them. Like, sometimes cats can get colds from us, which is... It just doesn't seem very fair, does it? So, okay. But let us take a little break. If you need something to eat, something to drink, you need to use the restroom. This is a perfect time to do that. At the very least, if you've been with me this whole time and you've been sitting down, please get up out of your chair, move your body around. You don't have to jog around the block or anything unless you're really, really motivated. But at least move around a little, get your blood pumping. Diane is stepping away because she's going to hang out with her hubby doing porch stuff. So I did see the comment earlier. So we will be here when you get back, Diane. Hopefully, internet gods willing. Alicia says, I mean, is it an early start if it's just books I'm carrying over from February? Yes, it's your March TBR list. It doesn't matter that some of the books are still from February. It is your March TBR list. So yes, you're starting it early. Excellent job, my friend. I'm all about rationalizing it in a way that makes me happy. That's all. That's all. All right. So again, if you need something to eat, something to drink, use the restroom. Perfect time to do that. Get up out of your chair, move your body. Either way. Oh, sorry. Tired. Also, if you haven't taken your meds yet, you should have taken your meds by now. Take your meds. I've got 2 vitamins left and my biotin, which I will pop in my mouth just as soon as I go. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. I've got like a third of a cup of coffee left, so I'm not quite ready to switch over to tea until I finish that. So I'll probably, at some point during one of the sprints, pop down to refill my tea. All right. Alicia's like, okay, sounds good. I mean, I'm all about it, right? Okay, so let's all be right back. Let me put 5 minutes on the red timer. 5 minutes. All right, I'm going to be right back. Y'all be right back. We'll meet back here in 5. All right, I was just jamming to the little song right there. So, oh, I'm really worn out today. I'm tired. I didn't sleep well. So the other night when I didn't sleep well, it wasn't really, it's that I did not stop electronics soon enough. Like, I was doom scrolling, and I know not to do that, but still, there's almost always like one night a week where I do that. I know not to open threads when I'm in bed. I know not to do that, but sometimes I do it anyway. So that was the other day. Last night, it wasn't that at all. It was like my brain was restless. I couldn't get it to calm down. I finally ended up taking a melatonin, and that absolutely helped. So, hello, Woodgate. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow, new friend. Hello, hello. Yes, we are very cozy here. Oh, except for when we feed the dragon. Thank you, Ariel. So we have fed the dragon. We are more than 50% to level 18, so that's awesome. And I noticed that we actually leveled up on oops, wrong thing. Dang it. I hate it that they changed the buttons. It's weird. So we leveled up and got some tickets So, thank you, Anita. Thank you for feeding the dragon again. See, it takes more feedings to get further on, right? So we'll get there. We'll get there. So Woodgate, welcome in. Glad you could join us. Are you a writer? Are you a reader? Are you just hanging out and wanted a cool place to just chill and get some stuff done? We're getting ready to start our third sprint of the stream. So we do 20-minute sprints. My name's Vanessa, by the way. I should probably introduce myself. My name's Vanessa. I am an author. I write primarily, my novels are primarily urban fantasy with some horrific elements. I tend to, in my short fiction, end up writing horror. Not always, but if you wanted to lay a bet, you would probably win. I'm also a professional editor, fiction editor, and have been since 2008. Oh, that's our timer. What else? Oh, I also run the Writers Troupe, which is a writerly support and education group here on Twitch, also on YouTube, also on Facebook, also on Discord. You can do an exclamation point TWT to get the Facebook link, or exclamation Discord to get the Discord link. If you're interested in that, we do sprints. I'm not the only one who runs sprints. We run sprints on a whole bunch of different platforms almost every day of the week. So yeah. Today I am not writing right now. I am at a scene where my brain is not ready to write it yet, and I tend to have to write linearly. So I'm going to give it a day, or, today to see. And if not, tomorrow I'll just, plow on through. Woodgate says both. I wanted to find a nice stream to put on in the background while I write. And you love the same genres. Friends. Yes, I love that. Huzzah. All right, so we're going to get into the next sprint. So, excellent. Let us know what you're working on if you feel comfortable doing that. And if you don't, that's totally cool too. I'm going to go back. I also do a lot of work for conventions. And so I also need to, I'm working on some back-end spreadsheets and different things like that for one of the conventions that I work on. Yeah, we have what we have. Yeah, okay. Ariel has ordered some music for this sprint. Thank you, Ariel. Yeah, we don't have a selection. Literally, we have no stations available at all. None of them are unlocked. So we have the current station we're on, which is rock, and then my liked music. So yes, and once we go off of rock, we will then lose that. So let's just keep with rock. That sounds good, Ariel. So we will have music this round, y'all. So thank you so much. All right. Are we ready to get going? I feel like I'm ready to get going. All right. We have got 20 minutes on the clock, and off we go. Okay, Elle, that's the end of that sprint. How did you do? How did you do? So I have been creating the 2026 different documents that we need for multiverse. So I created the guest agreement and sent it out to the relevant parties who I want to proof it, or if we need to make changes, whatever. I am currently working on the putting the links to useful pages into the director's hub that I have, so that they have access to things as they need them. All right. Anita made some progress on the interview. Also made a cup of coffee. Very important. Stephanie got some good edits in. Yes. Oh, Stephanie, by the way, I saw your that you joined the Facebook group, so yay, but I need you to pop in there and answer the questions that are in there. It's required. I mean, it's nothing onerous, just like it gives me an idea of where people are in their journey, so I have just an idea of what sorts of writers are in the group in terms of where they are in the process. So Daniela said, I'm just chilling, but I posted on TikTok and Instagram, so let's call that productivity. That is productivity. I don't know what you're talking about. That's absolutely productivity. Woodgate says, finished my more gory chapter. Finally happy with it. Yes. Good job. I love it. Huzzah. Ariel said I'm still on break and looking for a good backpack. We got the best backpack, but our backpack are travel backpacks, so they've got wheels. So I don't know if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for an actual backpack you can haul around on your back. So, but when we went to Europe last time, when we went to Amsterdam and Portugal, we decided we needed new bags for our electronics. So we found these really good travel bags. They've got wheels, you can pull them, but you can also put the straps on and wear them as a backpack, and stuff. So, yeah. Stephanie said, oh yes, I'll do that soon. My social media block turned on as I was doing it. It's no problem. I just wanted to make sure you didn't miss it. That's all. Because I've got it set to where if 2 days go by and somebody doesn't fill it in, then it automatically declines with a note saying, hey, you didn't do these things, and, we're happy to welcome you in. So I was just giving you a heads up. That's all. Hattie, hello, friend. Welcome in. Hattie's over on YouTube. Got on late, but did start some edits. That's okay. It's been a day here on the YouTubes. So, but glad to have you here working on edits. Excellent. Alicia cleaned off her desk, inputted receipts, worked on budgeting stuff, and read a story in Meet Cute. Excellent use of your time, my friend. Good job. Good job. Daniela said, I just love posting on TikTok, so I consider it fun time, and then I just repost that on Instagram and YouTube. But it's still, it's still work, though. It's still productivity. Just because it's also fun doesn't make it not productivity. I mean, I feel like those of us who are writers would never, if we looked at it that way. So, yeah. Ariel says, just looking for something cute and sturdy for my electronics. Yeah. So the cool thing, this bag is really good for that. But again, if you're just looking for something to actually sling over your shoulder, these are not it. I mean, that you can do that, but they're not just for grab and go. I mean, you could grab and go, but they're big, is what I'm saying. You're welcome, Stephanie. Anytime, anytime. I feel like, I know we got delayed and stuff, but I can't remember if we get a break right now or not. I've already lost track and we haven't even had 2 yet. I don't know. That beginning really threw me off, y'all. Do we want a break, or do we want to go on with another sprint and then take a break after that? Emily says, oh, unrelated to my story, but I started reading a new book last night. It's a book from a video game I really enjoy and really loving it so far. Life is Strange, Steph's Story. That's so cool. I love that. I think it's really interesting how different mediums, how a story moves across different mediums. Because, for example, The Witcher. The Witcher was a series of books first. And then it became a game. And there are a lot of people who didn't even know it came from books. I didn't know it came from books until it became a series. I love the series. I loved the series when Henry Cavill was in it. I don't mind the new guy. I just don't love it as much. And it's the same way with The Last of Us. When Pedro Pascal's character was killed, I was just like, I don't know that I really want to watch it. Even though I really, 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 really love Bella Ramsey. But yeah. So, Alicia's like, sprint, then break. Nobody else has said anything, so I'm down for that. Alicia. Alicia made the decision, y'all. Y'all were just too late. Thank you, Alicia. Excellent. I agree. I concur. All right. So let's get into it. I'm going to continue with what I'm doing. I don't know if I have other multiverse things to make, other, taking the 2025 stuff and making 2026 versions of that. I know there's at least one other thing I need to do, but I'm not doing that now. It's a big thing and I don't have the information I need for it yet. So that'll wait until next time. So, yeah. So let's see. Woodgate, do you have a certain schedule or time that you stream? Yes. I stream on Twitch and YouTube on Wednesdays and Thursdays at noon Eastern time. I usually go till about 3. Sometimes I go later. Like yesterday, we went till almost 4. I might go a little later today. It depends. A lot of it depends on how productive I'm being. If I'm being super productive, I don't always want to stop the stream because it is not uncommon that when I stop the stream, I stop being productive. That is a thing that happens. So yeah. So yeah, I usually start right around noon on Eastern time, and then we go for usually at least 3 hours. Anita says, I was distracted by the mention of Henry Cavill, but I concur with the decision. I love Henry Cavill. I mean, I genuinely like him as a human being from what I've seen of him. Like, he is so totally a nerd. He's like so us. And the fact that he's so fucking gorgeous and he's just such a good human and he's such a fucking nerd makes my heart happy. Yeah. Henry Cavill and Pedro Pascal, they will always have room in my life. Like, if they want to come live with me, they can come live with me. Like, I will have them in my home. I don't care, you know? And you know, Alicia's like, what about Henry Cavill now? What? Yeah, I was talking about how with the Witcher show, I don't love it as much now that he's gone. And part of it, and it really has nothing to do with the new guy, who is also very good, except his eyes are too close together, which always freaks me out. I don't know why I notice that every single time he's on screen, but I do. But anyway, he's fine. He's good. He's doing justice to the role. It's fine. But man, I miss me some Henry Cavill on The Witcher, for real. Diane says, sigh, so thankful I don't have mobility issues and can haul stuff around. Amen. Amen. Yes, Alicia's like, also, love Henry Cavill. Yeah. Henry Cavill? See, everybody's just like... And you know, the thing is, yes, he's gorgeous. But honestly, even if he wasn't gorgeous, I would still love him. Because of who he is, or who I perceive him to be. You know, he's a good, kind human being. He's a nerd. And he's a proud nerd. Like, that's the best. Like, that's the fucking hottest. He's a fucking proud nerd. I agree. I loved Henry Cavill as The Witcher. He was perfect in that role. Of course he was, because he was an actual fan. Like, he was their, like, technical consultant. I mean, he wasn't officially, but he was. So yeah, Liam Hemsworth is good, but Henry Cavill and the grunt man, perfection. Right? Yeah. Is that who it is? Liam Hemsworth? His eyes are too close together. I don't know. I don't keep track of all those young bucks. But he's fine. He's fine. And he does the grunt and it's fine, but he is not nearly as good as Henry Cavill. And I never really thought that a grunt could be done a whole lot differently, and it's really not that different. I mean, he's okay. He's good. He's like, if he were the first Witcher, he would be fine. But he wasn't the first Witcher. Let's just be clear about that. Henry Cavill will always be my Witcher. So, yeah. Yeah. And that's the hilarious thing, because when the last season came out, not the one with Hemsworth in it, but the last Henry Cavill season, I had gone back and rewatched the previous seasons. And in the first season, it's hilarious how often he grunts and does not speak. Like, he didn't speak through a huge portion of that series. Like, there would be like the majority of an episode where he actually didn't say anything. He just grunted multiple times. And that's what like cracked me up about him. Hattie says, talking about the pretty nerd who went to his nephew's school to prove that the boy's uncle is Superman, right? I love him so much. And he totally nerds out about Warhammer. Warhammer, like, he was on, I'm pretty sure it was Graham Norton. And there was another guy who was there, and I don't remember who the other guy was, but they started talking about their armies. Like, they started talking about their armies. Oh no, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't Graham Norton. It was. Maybe it was. I don't remember. I think it might have been right after the pandemic when they were all in separate chairs because they weren't right next to each other. They were kind of far away, so it might have been. I don't think it was a convention. I think it was. Graham Norton. Anyway, yes. So like super nerds, super nerd, and it makes me happy. All right, we may as well have taken a break. I talked through the whole fucking thing. Oh my gosh, you'll know him when you see him, Diane. He's Superman. He's one of the Supermen. You'll know him when you see him. I'm like that with a lot of actors now. It took me years to actually recognize Ariana Grande as Ariana Grande, and I still get her mixed up with Selena Gomez sometimes, just by their names. Not like if I see them, I know which one is which, but sometimes I get their names backwards. Oh yeah, it was Graham Norton, and he was talking to the guy who plays Yasker. I love him too. Oh my god, I love him too. I love him too. So, Diane, you need to look up Henry Cavill on Graham Norton and just watch how he talks and how he interacts. He's such a good human. Like, I adore him. He and Pedro Pascal, they are men whom I do not know, who I would welcome into my home. Like, just based on what I understand of who they are as humans. So, sorry, he reminds me of a 70s porn star. I mean, I've seen my share of 70s porn stars, and he does not have nearly enough hair, my friend. He does not have nearly enough hair. Yes, go look up Henry Cavill. And the thing that makes him attractive isn't his looks. I mean, his looks help, but that's not what makes him attractive to me at all. I think half his appeal is in his humbleness and nerdiness. Yes, that's exactly it. That is what makes me a huge fan of his. And I'll watch anything he's in. I haven't watched the Superman stuff because it's just, ugh. But I will get to it at some point. But like, if I see he's in it, the chances that I'm going to watch it are significantly higher. Same with Pedro Pascal. Pulled up the Graham Norton episode to watch later. Absolutely. Like, he's just, it's his personality that makes him incredibly attractive. He is physically very easy to look at. But what makes him attractive, and this is like it is for anybody with me, what makes them actually attractive to me as a human, rather than just beautiful. Like, beautiful to me, it's not objective, it's still subjective, but someone can be beautiful and I don't necessarily find them attractive. You know, like for myself. I recognize they're gorgeous and they're beautiful and I can admire their beauty, but for me, there are other things that have to be in play in order for me to find them actually attractive, if that makes sense. Yes, Emily, that I was wondering if anybody was going to bring that up. Pedro Pascal is also very supportive of his trans sister, which is amazing. Yes. Yeah, I mean, we already knew Pedro Pascal was awesome. And you know, he's dating a guy right now. And like, there are an awful lot of straight white women who are freaking the fuck out as if they ever had a chance with him to begin with. So, Diane lets us know it's season 22, episode 15. He was on several times, but yes, sitting here while hubby goes through toolboxes and decides what goes where. Excellent. Okay, let's get back to work, y'all, because we could talk about nerdy, like hot, nerdy men and women and, you know, NBs. We could talk about them forever because, you know, don't get me started on, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. The Umbrella Academy. Oh my God, I can't think of his name. God, but he's beautiful. Okay. Yes, I'm Pascal. I'm in Kansas. We are not legally kind to trans. Yes, I've noticed that. Especially right now. There's really bad stuff going. They are dating. Good for them. I mean, that's my understanding from people freaking out on the internet. I don't know. Anyway, okay, let's get to work, y'all. Let's get to work. Oh my God. Robert Sheehan. No. Which one is he? That's not who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the trans man. Oh yes, but oh my God, he's beautiful too. Oh my God, Robert Sheehan. OMG, he was my favorite character on Umbrella Academy. OMG, yes. Anyway, okay, let's get to work. We'll talk about this later. Okay. 20 minutes, y'all. Focus, y'all. Witcher cast and brief mention of Warhammer 40k. Thank you, Alicia, for that link. Those of you who are on Twitch and want to see the hang on, want to see the link, I'm gonna copy it over so you don't have to try to type it out. Here is the link with our man Henry Cavill on the Graham Norton show. Oh wait. Oh, okay. So it was The Witcher. Okay, wait. That first one is not the Graham Norton show, and the second one is the Graham Norton show. I don't remember what the first one was. Okay. All right. Enough. We were not taking a break, remember? Okay, here we go. 20 minutes, y'all. Focused. Here we go. Okay, wait. Okay, there we go. Okay, y'all, that's the end of that sprint. How'd you do? How did you do? I went downstairs, got some tea. Old Lady Cat was not down there, but I did need to refill some things. So I did that while I was down there, and then I came back up and I finished up the additions to the Multiverse Directors Hub. So that has the links that are active that they are able to use. And yeah, then I just did some little odds and ends. So I think what I'm going to work on next is I have some emails I need to do for DragonCon. I don't really feel like doing those right now. So I think I'm going to work on the Writers Hub that I have been making on Notion. So I am still working on the book launch / marketing module because obviously it's a little bit more involved than some of the other ones. But I'm probably 2/3 of the way done. I've just got, I think, a little bit more to do. But yeah, so then that'll be done. Then I'll work on the money piece, the money module, and then the events module, both of which should be relatively quick. And then I will be able to start testing the full writing hub. So, very excited about that. Let's see. Anita has only 2 more questions to write. You're so close. You're right there. Stephanie says, still more edits down. Feeling good about that since I had to add some things. Edits don't mean taking out. They mean making better. And sometimes that means adding. So, although if you do write long, if you tend to write and your manuscript is larger than it should be, then yes, obviously you're going to need to focus on, whittling that down a little. But editing by default isn't necessarily about cutting stuff. It is about making the work better, whatever that looks like. So for me, I tend to write sparse. For an adult novel, my first draft is usually about 60,000 words, and I have to actually build it up to 80,000. And that is in part because I tend to gloss over descriptions and things of that nature because I don't care. But other people do, so I have to fix it. So yeah. Hattie says, got food and a little more editing on the chapter. Good job. Woodgate is also editing another chapter. All the edits, y'all. Good job. Good job. Diane says, got back to working on the course I'm taking. Did work up a sweat helping hubby, though. Got your exercise in. Yeah. Alicia went on a hunt in the library. Your library, I'm assuming, because you're at home. What were you hunting for, and were you successful? That's what we need to know. All right, so while I'm yammering, let's go ahead and take a little break. I did everything during the sprint, so I don't actually need to go off camera. So I'm going to put 5 minutes on the red timer, and I'm going to turn the red timer on over here so y'all can see it. So this is our break timer. So if you need to get something to eat, something to drink, you need to use the restroom, please feel free to take a moment to do those things. And again, if you've been sitting this whole time, get up and move around a little bit because that'll help. I promise when you get to my age, you will thank past you. Also, if you haven't taken your meds yet and you should have taken your meds by now, take your damn meds. I've got 2 more vitamins to take, which I will take during the next sprint. Let's see. Let me scroll back to what folks are saying. Stephanie said, yep, that's exactly what I do. Not a lot of description in my first drafts. Yeah, because I don't tend to read description very much. I skim description when I'm reading. And so that is by far the weakest part of my writing because of that. My strongest parts are action scenes and dialogue. Those are the strongest pieces of my writing. And I know, and like where the end of a chapter is. Like, I know that as well. That's also one of my strengths. Anita said, I also underwrite, but I tend to gloss over action scenes. Yeah. I think, a lot of it has to do with how we read, right? So Diane says, we stuck some things on the back porch in cardboard boxes that said store. So now we're going through labeling and taking things to the garage as needed. Excellent. do have a bunch of planner stuff I'm going to eventually put on Facebook Marketplace. Okay. I feel like Alicia needs to be paying attention to that. Alicia does a lot of planner stuff. Alicia says, yes, my library. And yes, I was successful. The Curse Workers series by Holly Black are getting new covers. And I couldn't remember what the cover looks like for my copy. That's one of her YA series, right? I don't really read YA, and so, but I really, really loved the one adult book that she's written that I can't remember the name of right now. But I read it several years ago, and I was like, oh my God, I love this. I love how she writes. Like, that's how I want to write. But yeah, but I don't love YA, so I tend to, I'm too far away from YA. I cannot relate anymore. Like, I can relate to what I remember of being that age, but what people that age are living with and how their lives are now is completely different than the way it was when I was young. So, like, I just don't relate anymore in that way. Diane worked in a public library for 17 years. Love our libraries. I love them too. I love them too. And they've got so many new things that they never had when we were younger. Like, our libraries have maker spaces. You can go in and use an embroidery machine or a 3D printer. Well, you can't actually use the 3D printer. You bring in your what you call, not pattern, not blueprint, whatever it is, your PDF, whatever it is. Maybe it is a blueprint. And you give it to the librarian or whatever, and then they run the machine. But still, like, we didn't have that shit when I was a kid. You had your library. That's what you had. So, Alicia said, oh wait, hang on. Diane says, I'm in Southeast Kansas, or I would throw them her way if she wanted. I mean, we do have mail. Alicia says, it depends on what it is. I'm trying to declutter the house this year. Amen, sister. Yes, I believe it is YA, and Alicia is in Florida. Diane said, consider taking to thrift store to donate to. Imagine walking in and seeing it all as a planner. I would faint. So I do want to say, and I don't know if you know about this, but there's something called the Buy Nothing Initiative. And it's basically what it sounds like. It's kind of like Free Cycle, basically, but it's geared towards your actual neighborhood. So do a search on Google for Buy Nothing, and then whatever your town is, or your county, or whatever. And I will bet you probably have a Facebook group, and you can post it there. And it's like porch pickup. People will just come by, grab it, and go. I actually got a huge box of Happy Planner shit that way. So, so I don't need any more planner stuff. Like myself. Public libraries are so important, 100%. There's a great documentary I understand on PBS right now about librarians. Yeah, I absolutely love libraries. I don't actually physically go to libraries very much anymore, but I use Libby. Our library, you can get streaming movies and TV shows through a service called Canopy, and that's Canopy with a K. That's free through the library. You get like a certain number of like credits. You get like 20 credits a month, but they cost between 1 and usually 3 or 4 credits to watch something. So, you can watch several movies or, several, a good portion of a series or whatever. So yeah, like there's just so much. Hattie says, when I read YA, my 30, 40-year-olds start acting like angsty teens. That's hilarious. Diane says, I'm in a 1 stoplight town. We do that a lot. City cleanup is a picker's paradise. Yeah. Well, I mean, double check. Even if you're in being in a 1 stoplight town doesn't mean nobody made a Facebook group for your town or your county. It may just be maybe a county thing rather than a town thing. So, maybe you don't have one, but maybe you do. So you might also, if you know any women's shelters in the county or something, they might find it useful. So, all right, that was our break timer, y'all. So I can turn the timer off here. Goodbye. All right. Oh, there's the Facebook link for the Writers Troop again. So I'm probably going to go a little long. We'll do so it's 2:30, and I usually stop at about 3 o'clock. So normally I would do just like a long sprint right now, like 25 minutes or something. But I think I'll probably go ahead and do two. So we'll do two more 20-minute sprints. How's that sound? I don't usually go late on Thursdays, but I'll go a little bit late today. And if you keep an eyeball out, well, no, probably he won't probably go to bed this early. So my husband's nap time is usually around 4 o'clock, and lately work has been really kicking his ass, so he's been napping a little early. But I don't think he'll be napping as early as like 3:15. That might be a little earlier than he would nap. So Diane says, "Oh yeah, we just shout out on Facebook too. Just found out animal control person can use a ramp we got for the dog that he won't use, but was direct text. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm all about like passing it forward. Like if I can't use it anymore, there may be somebody out there who can. I would rather do that than just dump it. So yeah. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to put on some of my wonderful body butter that I got from Teddy Bear. What's it called? Teddy Bear. It is the Rashan collection. I love this stuff. I cannot, like, I got it at a convention a few weeks ago, and like I use it many, many times a day, and it's still just got so much in it. And this stuff is amazing. It makes my hand so soft. All right. But we're going to go ahead and get going. I'm going to work on the Writer's Hub that I am creating in Notion. I'm going to get back into that. I'm going to see if I can finish up the launch and marketing part. We'll see. We will see. All right. I've got 20 minutes on the clock. Let's do it, y'all. Here we go. Boop. All right, there we go. Second to the last sprint. How'd everybody do? So I finished off what I was in the middle of working on last time I worked on the Writing Hub was templates for the launch records and the ads records. Or no, not the launch. I already did the launch. The marketing, the general marketing template and the ads marketing template. And so I had already done most of the work on those. I just needed to polish up a little bit. Now I'm bouncing over to the help files I'm creating. No joke. It takes like 30% more time to do the help files than it takes to actually create the databases and relate them and make them work the way I want. Like it takes that same amount of time plus 30% just to do the help files. So, all right, so that's the next piece. I've already got a bunch of stuff in there that I've been noting as I've been working so that I don't forget little things. Because like I said, this is the most kind of detailed piece of the hub. And so I just want to make sure that it's clear because it's a lot. So, yeah, so now I've got to hammer that into some semblance of understandability. All right. Stephanie finished that chapter up. Yay! Huzzah! Good job, good job. And Anita finished the interview. Yay! And Hattie finished the chapter edit. Started next, most of the food gone. Good job. Ariel had to get on a work call and is now making a cup of strawberry sakura tea. Okay, that sounds really good. I don't like, we've talked about this before. I don't usually like fruit teas, but that does sound good. Diane says, sadly, I haven't knit much at all in the last 3 to 4 years, so it's time to pass much of it along instead of collecting dust. Understood. Made progress on coursework despite gabbing a lot. I mean, yes, same. Ariel said, hopefully it's as good as the peach tea I made yesterday. I'm sure it will be. Yes, and then cheers to everybody for getting stuff done. Y'all, we kicking ass, man. Kicking ass is what I'm saying. But y'all, I'm tired. And it's so yucky out. It's like, oh, it's not raining. Well, I mean, I'm sure it's a little drizzly out there, but like, it's just overcast and yucky. Oh, just overcast and yucky. Which makes me even more tired. Oh, we have daffodils. Hey, nice. So we have daffodils. My husband, about 10 years ago, planted a couple of daffodils over by like we have like one of those big, not big, but, well, I mean, it is big. Those electric boxes in the front of our yard, like over by the tree line. You know what I'm talking about? The big kind of square. We used to play on them when I was a kid. And so he planted a couple, and every year we have more. And there's yellow, and it looks like there are a couple white ones out there. So I don't know if they mutate, or I don't know, because I don't know that I can't actually tell if those are daffodils, though. They look like they might be, but the other ones definitely are. There's probably a dozen and a half or 2 dozen, and then there's like one that's just like off from the other ones. It's just like the little outlier daffodil. So Hattie says it's raining there. Yeah, it's overcast, and I imagine it's probably drizzling on and off. It's not raining here. Diane says 64 and sunny. Rub it in, why don't ya? Hattie said we had a sonorous of starlings come through for like an hour this morning. How nice. Although also maybe annoying if you have a headache or something. I think it's thundering. So for those who don't know, I get PTSD around thunderstorms. No, I think that's a plane. I get PTSD around thunderstorms because I've had my house demolished twice by trees within like a year and a half of each other. Once during lockdown in 2020, which was a great time because you couldn't get anybody out to do anything. And then again in January of 2023. So I have all kinds of stress and anxiety around thunderstorms, which pisses me off because I used to love thunderstorms. And it's really just when I'm in my house. I'm not nearly as bad when I'm not in my house, which of course makes sense because this is where it happened. And we were home both times. So it's just been rough. So whenever it does get overcast and stuff, or when it gets rainy, but especially if it gets windy, it doesn't even have to be storming or anything, but if it gets really windy, I get very anxious. So Diane says to Hattie, very cool. Stephanie says 84, sunny, gonna be almost 90. Oh, you live in Central Arizona. I was there a few years ago when you guys had that stretch of like temperatures over 120 degrees or something, 110 or 120 degrees for like a month and a half straight. I was there for about a week during that time. Ooh, I had never, like, that was the first time I ever felt like dry heat. Because I've always lived in humid areas. I'd never even visited anywhere that had dry heat. I had no understanding, like I had no concept of how that actually felt. I mean, I understood it intellectually, but I had never had that experience. And what I found is that dry heat makes me very grumpy. Like, not grumpy like I'm going to start yelling at people, but like if we're out in it and we're walking, it's like, walk faster. I want to get into that store over there. Come on, let's go. Like it's not really grumpy. It's just that I have a little more impatience than I usually do. So Woodgate says, so rainy and cold here in Devon in the southwest of England. I love England. Having to constantly turn the heating off and on again. I feel that. We had freezing overnight temperatures, not last night, but the 2 nights before that. And then today it's like 56 degrees. Yeah. So Diane's like, oh man, that sucks. Lol, it's a dry heat and it's still hell. Right. Fucking heat is heat. Just like, so I live in Atlanta, so I live in the South, and I come from Chicago, which is not in the South. It is very cold up there during the winter, and it snows every year. A lot. And so I still obviously have a lot of family up there, and all of them seem to think that Atlanta is located somewhere near the Bahamas, because whenever I say it's cold out, they're like, you don't know cold. And I'm like, dude, it's 26 degrees. That's cold in Chicago too. So yeah, cold is cold. Hot is hot. Yeah. Yeah, the thing about the dry heat, the only piece to me that was really that different is you couldn't really gauge whether you were hydrated enough. Like that's, like when it's humid, you have a lot more leeway because you're not actually, when you sweat, it's not actually drying immediately. And so you don't necessarily lose liquid, lose fluid as quickly as you do in some place like Arizona. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live there. Honest to God, too hot. I'm a temperate girl. Like, I don't want to live anywhere where it's cold, and I don't want to live anywhere where it's hot. I just want it to just be like a decent temperature all the time and not raining all the time. And that seems to be difficult to get here in the US. If it's a temperate, like if it's an average temperature all year, it's going to rain like 70% of the time. We don't seem to have any of those nice places. Stephanie says, oh yeah, that can be very difficult for people who move here from other places. 100%. Yeah, I can totally see why that would be. So, but I've got several cousins who live out in Phoenix, and my VA lives in Phoenix as well. So, yeah, so I haven't been out there since then, actually. But my one cousin's supposed to be getting married, but I don't know when, so I imagine I'll be doing another trip out there, assuming we're still in the country. Okay, let's get back to work. This is going to be our last sprint. Those of y'all on Twitch, are we raiding today? Are we not raiding today? You've got this sprint to let me know. Because if we're raiding, I have to go find somebody to raid. But if y'all are all going to be like, bye, then, you know, it doesn't make sense. Okay, let's get into it. 20 minutes. Last sprint of the stream, y'all. Here we go. Oh, that's it. That's it. Last sprint of the stream. How did you do? Started tackling these help files. I'm glad I made notes as I went along, though, because that has helped a lot. It's a pain in the ass, but it'll be worth it in the end. So how'd everybody else do? How'd everybody else do? I am really dragging. I don't know if you looked the last minute or two. There was one point where I realized I was just like sitting here kind of staring into space because I was thinking, but I was just like not here. I was somewhere else. So I'm really tired. I need to get up and move. I need to get up and move around. And I just remembered I have laundry in the washing machine from yesterday. So I should probably run that again with soap before it gets smelly and do something with that today. So let's see. Anita sent an email and shared some stuff to social media. Good job. Daniela reached page 89 in Her Majesty's Royal Coven. Yeah, I pulled that up. I added that to my TBR list. Also scrolling on a secondhand bookstore and about to make some tea. What kind of tea you making, Daniela? You know, I always want to know. Ariel is doing day job stuff and enjoying her tea. So your strawberry tea was good. So did you add sweetener to it? What did you add? Daniela says, thanks for the sprint. You're welcome. So if y'all want to stick around, I'll go over the events of the coming week for TWT. You have to be part of either the Discord or the Facebook group to actually get the links and stuff for these. So feel free to do that if it is of interest. I will put those links in the chat. Sugar and a splash of honey. Good job, Ariel. I feel like that's going to be the go-to now. So TWT. Hattie says, food is gone and got edits done through the first pre-chapter. Excellent. All right, so that is TWT, and then I'm sorry it's coming through twice, but I still haven't figured out what that is because I haven't tried. So there's the Discord. Okay, so let me go over the events real quick as I know them. I meant to message Joe about Monday because I don't know if he's doing his Monday since he didn't do him this week. All right. So usually we have sprints tonight with Amelia, but she's taking a mental health day, so she's not doing sprints. So we've got nothing this evening. But tomorrow at 1 p.m., and all the times that I'm going to mention are Eastern time. So if you're not in the Eastern time zone, you're going to have to do that timey-wimey math on your own. But tomorrow at 1 p.m., I will be hosting our regular Zoom co-working. It is from 1 until 2:30. Then at 7 p.m., Amelia will be doing her 30-minute sprint. She goes from 7 till about 9. Saturday on the Discord, Mr. James will be doing the Saturday Discord sprints. He starts at 11 a.m. and he goes until 1 p.m. On Sunday at 10 a.m., we have the Sunday morning write-in with Lisa Raby, and she goes until noon. On Sunday evening at 7 o'clock, y'all, especially if you're in the Facebook group, we have our regular Zoom discussion. So for those who don't know, during the course of the week, people on Facebook go into the event and vote on the topic or topics that they are most interested in discussing or hearing discussed. And then at about 5:30 Eastern time on Sunday, I tally those up and then I announce what our topic is. And then at 7 p.m., we have a discussion of whatever it was that was chosen. So we go for that Zoom call goes from 7 until 8:30. I do record most of them, the ones that are actual discussions versus workshopping. Workshopping we don't record, obviously, because we're talking about people's specific work. But the discussions I usually record and then post as unlisted on an unlisted video on YouTube and link it in the group. So people can go back. I'm still a little behind on that, but I'm getting caught up week by week. All right, so that discussion is Sunday evening at 7 p.m. We go from 7 till 8:30. On Monday, we may have sprints with Joe at 2 p.m. from 2 till 4, but it's technically supposed to be his off week, but he missed this week, so I don't know if he's just going to pick it up and do off and on for next week. I meant to check with him today and forgot. So Monday, 2 o'clock, maybe, maybe not, don't know. Tuesday at 7 p.m., Amelia hosts her writing sprints again, 7 till 9. I will be back on Twitch and YouTube at noon on Wednesday for noon till 3, or whenever I get tired of doing it. Or, you know, whenever my internet provider decides to just dump me on the ground. So, noon on Wednesday, and then again on Thursday. Brings us back around to Thursday next week, where we will be doing this all again. So, huzzah! All right, let's see what folks have to say. Okay, there's all the Discord stuff. Diane says, thank you again for sprints. Made progress on coursework. Thank you for joining us, Diane. Hopefully we'll see you again next week. Or maybe in one of the TWT things before next week. Let's see. Daniela says, same tea as yesterday. Main ingredient is lemon balm. And I'll add honey again. Sounds excellent. I am drinking hot cinnamon rooibos from Harney & Sons with a little bit of honey. And then also a little oat milk and a little cow milk. Because I like the taste of oat milk, but if it's just oat milk, it's too much. So I do half and half. So that's what I'm drinking. As a matter of fact, if I'm drinking tea, there's like a 98% chance that is what I'm drinking. Hattie says, now I have to get ready to go next door and help roommate's mom pack to move. All right, good luck. Do not overdo it, Hattie. Do not overdo it. We're getting older, friend. All right. Since nobody on Twitch said they wanted me to raid, nobody said anything about raiding. So we're just going to close it down. Thank you, everybody, for being here with me. Y'all keep me on the straight and narrow. Well, not really. I'm neither straight nor narrow, if we want to be honest. But y'all do keep me motivated to be focused. So thank you so much. Woodgate says, glad to have gotten work done for once. Never done writing sprints before. Well, hopefully we'll see you again. Hopefully you will join us again in the future. So yay, and congratulations on starting your new book. Your first book. I'm so proud for you. Yes, I'm just going to give you another cheer just because I can. And also, welcome to our world. I'm a dork. I can't help it. All right, bye, Ariel. Bye, y'all. Have a great rest of your day. Have a good weekend. We'll see you later. Bye.